Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to the weekly contraption puzzle. Alrighty, let's see, what were we at here? Oh yes, let us go ahead and take a look at the solution to week two's puzzle together. Blah blah blah, puzzles, community, new. I'm just curious to see, like, between last week and this week, how many. I'm gonna say tons. Oh, not actually that many. It's right here. Uh, by the way, if any devs watching, please add a search feature or something. I have no way of organizing my puzzles into an easily accessible group. And while it's nice to come out with a weekly puzzle, it'd be really nice to have, like, content that you could look at and be like, here's a ton of puzzles all at once. The only way I can do that right now is by going to my downloaded or uploaded list, which works for people who followed me from the beginning, but leaves me no way to tell somebody new, hey, go back and take a look at this. Okay, this is the puzzle. Let's review the goal together for those who haven't been trying at it, blah blah blah. Aliens are trying to steal away Mr. Pumpkinhead and their UFO. Shoot the pumpkin before it gets away. Clear, blah blah blah. Okay. So, when we begin, the UFO is ascending away. UFOs follow a very specific form of physics. They ascend, but if bumped into from the top by significant enough force, they reverse and go down. That includes if they were to hit a ledge or a stick, like that. Otherwise, in terms of motion, we only have this tennis ball moving and triggering a fast flashlight, and that's that. Okay, so first steps first, let's turn that flashlight into something more. Fires the cannonball, runs the hamster wheel, and kerthunk. Okay. We're now in a position where the cannonball will be stuck here. To keep it moving, the jack-in-the-box should be able to knock it further. Of course, the jack-in-the-box won't trigger unless we trigger it. Booyah, perfect. Now we have the motion of the cannonball going this way. We could use that to flip a switch, or we could use that to trigger the button clicker. We're gonna activate the button clicker specifically in such a way that there's enough room for the cannonball to continue to fall afterwards, and attach this button clicker to the gear system to move it once. And now observe what happens. Fires the cannonball, activates the jack. Nope, missed. Let's try it here, maybe? See if that's a good location. Perfect. Okay, well, not perfect, but let's see if we can leave a bit more room for the cannonball to fall when it's done. So what this guy does is it turns once or twice in response to a button click, and that's it. In this case, exactly once, enough to move the stick forward to block the UFO, so he's not escaping Earth's gravity for yet one more cycle. Excellent. Excellent! We now have a falling cannonball. We'll use that to flip the switch, and activate a laser, since that's the only plug-inable item. The laser aimed across the board at this other side laser outlet, which we will then plug in our only remaining device to, which will blow the ball into the bucket or the bucket down into this little recess, hopefully generating enough motion to trigger our firearm. Let us find out. Yup, we've got a gun firing. Pop goes the weasel. And that is a completion. And self-serving as I am totally going to rate this up. So that's the solution. Taking a quick peek at the official solution, we'll see that it is in fact the exact same. Fire the cannonball, blah blah blah. The only difference here is going to be a matter of precise placement, which might result in the timing being a little different. Nope, the timing is almost exact, actually. Almost exact. Alright, that's the official solution. But, what if we wanted to do it better? When I go about trying to break my own puzzles, I apply a very reductionist philosophy to the game. There are three kinds of parts. parts that respect the laws of gravity and move, like the tennis ball, parts that do not respect the laws of gravity but do not interact, like the pulley, or the switch, or the laser switch, things go right through it, or the light bulb. And then there are parts that do not respect the laws of gravity and do not move. Sometimes that breakdown is all I need to make the puzzle do what I need it to. For example, I have a moving tennis ball, I have a moving person. I have not been given any other moving parts here to work with, so I have to rely on the puzzle to grant me motion, because I will not be able to generate motion from my end. Okay. Motion of tennis ball. Oh wait! There is more motion, isn't there? This guy's providing me motion. Now the issue, of course, is that he's about to escape. So all I need, if I were to go by what the puzzle's intent was, I need to slide this wall out to stop the UFO from escaping. Ignoring puzzle intent, though, I just need anything solid to stop him. So let's stop him here-ish, maximizing his time in front of the gun for when I fire the gun. There we go. Second, to fire the gun I need a rope, and I need the rope to attach. The bucket is an option, but, and again, this is me showing you how I experiment. What about these guys? Could they work? I mean, technically speaking, it does pull the trigger. Problem is, at the time it pulls the trigger, I have absolutely no need of a bullet fired. But it's important for me to consider the possibility, because if I had been able to tie it down in such a way that the trigger was constantly firing, that would solve the puzzle in pretty much just one part. But no, it does look like I'm going to be forced to use the bucket. Okay, that's fine. So, again, that's the breakdown of parts as I see them being used for motion or no motion. Now that we've isolated that the motion that we wish to make use of is not this falling man, but this moving saucer, here's the obvious question. In our full-fledged solution, the result was we needed to flip this on so that we could use a fan, and we could use the, well, that's it really, the fan, the rope does the trick. Who's to say we can't have the UFO flip the switch? And you'll notice there's this interesting side effect. When the UFO hits the switch, it kind of gets stuck on it for a while before it actually gets across it, giving us plenty of time to trigger our loop. So we can probably get rid of our last ceiling block. Laser lock, fan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in stock just like the challenge requested. Flip the switch, activate the auto fire, it is active. Now all we need to do is get the UFO into position. It's getting there, it's getting there. Okay, and that should do it. Pop goes the weasel. So it is in fact possible to complete this puzzle using very few parts, using just 5 parts. And that's, or leaving 5 parts and just using a few. The switch, the laser, the fan, and the rope. 4. And that is it. And it does short circuit the entirety of the puzzle, all because we identified where we had motion correctly. If we had ignored this motion possibility, the challenge is getting motion to this area of the puzzle. Because sure, I can set up all these static will be triggered loops, but I can't do anything. Now there is one other concern that is worth mentioning, and that is there a way to do it in less parts? The rope will trigger the gun, and since part of the puzzle requirements are that we shoot the pumpkin, that is going to be, this rope will be needed, one way or the other. There's no getting around that. How else might I trigger the gun in such a way that it would be permanent? And now we're getting into the realms of things I haven't really thought too much about, but here's a thought. Pull the trigger, and then immediately blockade the thing from falling so that the trigger stays pulled? No, that won't work. Okay, never mind. It was a thought. I can't see any way to use these guys to keep the trigger pulled. And the problem is that the part limitation is very tight. Just a switch and a fan. Technically speaking, a switch and a fan is less than switch, fan, and laser. So let's see if we couldn't pull the trigger constantly by blowing the stick after it fell. There we go. Now we're talking. That's cool. It smashed the pumpkin with the stick, but since the gun fired, the puzzle was considered correctly solved. Let's see that again. Flip the switch. Whap. But even if that hadn't worked out, we've got all the requirements triggering right here. No reason to believe this puzzle wouldn't solve itself pretty easily right now. Yup. I'm confused as to why the pumpkin is breaking it here, but wow! See, and again, this is why I approach puzzles the way I do. Sorry, why I break puzzles the way I do when I try to break puzzles. By isolating what is actually required, and then breaking parts down not in terms of what is their intended function or how are they meant to be used, but do they create motion, do they respond to motion, do they ignore gravity, etc. I'm able to come up with an answer like that, where the whole puzzle actually just needed 1, 2, 3 parts. And I'm gonna go ahead and hazard a guess that 3 is the bare minimum to solve this puzzle. I don't think you can do it in 2. Because you absolutely need the rope to fire the gun, which means you would be somehow just using 1 part to trigger the gun and block the and shoot the pumpkin dead. Yeah, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed watching this weekly puzzle number 2. Stay tuned for number 3. I will see you guys next time.